Hello and welcome everybody. We have a lot of you filing in. Welcome to today's webinar. I'm going to pause for just a second as people are joining this session. We already are up to 100 in like 10 seconds, so that's amazing. So I'm going to pause while people are coming in, but thank you again so much for being here. We will get started in just a few minutes. And if you are joining, if you want to put in the chat box where you're calling in from, we always like to do that at Out and Equal to see where everybody is in the world. So if you want to go ahead and chat that in while we wait just another minute for people to come in. Oh my gosh, we can't even keep up with however many of you are chatting in right now. Let's see. Chicago, Dallas, Phoenix, a fellow North Carolinian, Brazil, people from all over the place. And sorry, I have a cat next to me. All right, so I'm going to wait about 30 more seconds because the numbers are still ticking up. But if you are just now joining, welcome and thank you for joining today's webinar for the 2020 Workplace Summit kickoff. We are very excited to have you here. All right. So I know people are going to keep joining, but for the interest in time, we can go ahead and get started. We want to go to the next slide. All right, everybody, welcome again and thank you for joining today's webinar. My name is Madeline Perot and I use she, her pronouns, and I am the communications manager at Out and Equal. And on behalf of our entire team, we are so happy to have you all on today's kickoff call for the 2022 Workplace Summit. Whether you are an Out and Equal committed partner, a future partner, a longtime friend, or completely new to our world, welcome. And we are so happy to have you here. And we're looking forward to seeing many of you in Las Vegas. So you'll see on the screen, we're going to use a system called Menti today for our webinar. If you can scan the QR code using your phone or go to www.menti.com and enter the code 94176316. And my colleagues can also put that in the chat box for you all to reference. I see many of you ticking up in the bottom. We'll keep this screen on there for just another minute to get people joined. But before we get officially started, I'm going to start off the webinar by answering the million-dollar question, which is, yes, this webinar is being recorded and we will have the presentation available after the call for you all. All right, so people are filing in. Sterling, let's go to the next slide. All right, so today's agenda is jam-packed, so I'll go over this really quickly, and then I'm going to pass it over to our CEO, Aaron Uritis. But real quick, you can see we're going to talk about what's new in 2022. We're going to talk about our pre-conference day, the summit schedules, our favorite workshop proposals and OUTIE proposals, partnerships, registration, and housing, finally back to housing after 2 years of virtual summit, health and safety, our points of contacts, and then deadlines and key dates. And then we will have time at the end for your questions. Go to the next. All right, so on today's call, you will hear from these lovely people. Aaron Uritis is going to kick us off in a few seconds. Everybody, hopefully on this call, I'm sure knows who Aaron is and is excited to hear from her. We have our Director of Events, Kira Jackson. We have the famous Stephen Huey on the call to talk about the partnerships, and he's our Senior Director of Corporate Engagement. We have Annalicia Hawkins, our Senior Events Manager, and then myself. All right, so I'm going to pass it over to Aaron to welcome you all and to kick us off.
Thanks, Madeline. Hi, everybody. I'm Erin Uritis. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the incredibly lucky CEO of this fabulous organization, Out and Equal. And this is a day we look forward to every year. So we are so happy to welcome so many of you, and the numbers keep ticking up, to our long-awaited kickoff for in-person summit. And this is after 2 years, of course, of virtual. So this year is in Las Vegas, and we're really, really excited. when the team is going to be talking to you today about all the really cool, details and features of Summit. And I know you all look forward to that every year. Now, before I turn it over to the team, I just want to kind of center that Out and Equal, like you all in many organizations worked really hard over the 2+ years of this pandemic to keep bringing you the best that we could, the best of virtual programming, the most helpful resources and support, like in our really unique global hub. And we're really excited that you all not just stuck with us, but that we really continued to build the fabric of this learning community that is Out and Equal. And so in these 2 years, we, like every organization, we had challenges, but we think we got stronger and even innovated. And we are bringing all of this energy and creativity to you in this year's summit, which will be exactly what so many of you who come every year, who heard about it, what we're kind of known for. We're bringing that, and we have even more. And we even have an ePass option to help continue to bring this to even a wider community around the world. So before I turn it over, I just want to announce, and Kira will be talking a little bit more about this later, and you'll see our graphic. But our theme for this year is one word: unstoppable. And so I guess just like Madonna and Cher, we have achieved one name fame status in the summit theme. And we really think it says it all, because in light of the increasing urgency that our community continues to face, being under attack with nearly 240 anti-LGBTQ plus bills around the country, we think that, being together in person and virtually to share information, to build connection and community is now more important than ever. And we will not be stopped. We will continue to bring you the best programming, intersectional approaches, really focus on the practical and the pragmatic ways you all can roll up your sleeves and do this work. And we're with you every step of the way. And so unstoppable, there it is. And we're really excited. You'll see lots more details to come. You will start to hear about big talent that we have signed and big speakers. As always, Isabel Perez and the learning development team are bringing the best, incredible programming. So we could not be more excited. We are just beyond thrilled to be able to see so many of you in person this year. So tell your friends, bring these details back to your company, and hopefully we will see you in Vegas. So thank you again. And Madeline, I'm going to turn it back over to you and the team.
Thank you, Erin. And I'm so excited that we can finally announce our unstoppable theme this year. I'm looking at the chat and everybody is so excited. So we are very, very happy. Oh, and look how eager everybody is. We are already filling this in. So thank you all so much for jumping on this. All right, so participation from you all. I am a blank. Check all that apply. And you'll see in the chat, if you didn't have a chance to log into Menti before this, my colleague Jack just put it in the chat box. And this is just so we can see who's on the call, and we can kind of get a better idea of the specific needs of you all. All right, and for those that are other not listed, if you want to put that in the chat box, feel free. No pressure if not. All right, I'm going to wait a second while these are still coming in. So it looks like we're at a strong, I guess not that strong, but a majority of you all are LGBTQ plus ERG leaders. And then we have LGBTQ plus ERG members, DEI, HR professionals. Great. All right, so thank you all for, and still feel free to submit those. We're going to go on, and I see some chat box. All right, so what are you most excited for about Summit this year? So whether you're new to Summit or you have been to many summits before, what are you most excited for? All righty, so we're about tied. So we have networking and relationships, professional development, learning and resources, leadership skills, community gathering. All right, so those numbers are still toggling, but we're almost even, but it looks like networking and relationships, community gathering, learning and resources. And I would imagine those are especially important this year now that we're going to be gathering back in person. All right, so we'll have more chances to participate in a little while, but I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Kira Jackson.
Thanks, Madeline. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kira Jackson, and I would also like to start off by taking a second to thank all of you for joining us for our 2022 Summit Kickoff Call. So what's new in 2022? Well, to start, we are back in person finally after 2 long-awaited years and on the West Coast in Las Vegas. We'll be hosting Summit at the Mirage Hotel, which is located at the center of the Las Vegas Strip. Pre-conference day, which I will discuss shortly, is going to take place on Monday, October 17th. And then the Workplace Summit will take place from Tuesday, October 18th through Thursday, October 20th. Next slide, please. As Aaron mentioned and Madeline as well, this year's Summit theme is unstoppable. So you'll be seeing, hearing, and hopefully embracing this theme throughout the week. And be on the lookout for additional communications about our Summit theme. Another new element this year is Hybrid Summit, which will be an out and equal first. The hybrid model will allow attendees to join us in person or participate virtually. So what does that look like exactly? Pre-summit programming will take place on our virtual platform the week before the event. So that will be from Tuesday, October 11th through Thursday, October 13th. Then the following week, we'll host in-person programming in Las Vegas, as well as e-pass programming on our virtual platform from October 18th through the 20th. Lastly, we also have some new programming for Hybrid Summit. We first introduced our premier sessions in 2020, which are out and equal curated sessions elevating urgent topics central to workplace equality, such as anti-racism, intersectionality, resilience, and gender. Those who attended these sessions in the past are aware of how impactful these sessions were, and we're so excited to share we are bringing them to this year's event. Similarly, the Summit Buddy program is making its Hybrid Summit debut. This is an optional program, but we of course hope all of you will participate, that is open to both in-person and e-pass attendees. We've seen amazing bonds and stories come from these groups, so we're looking forward to hearing what stems from this year's Buddy program. You can review some additional information about the Buddy program on our website. And we have pre-conference day programming. What was formerly known as Leadership Day is now 2 programs taking place the day before Summit. And those programs are the Diverse Leaders Fellowship and the Practitioner Leadership Labs, which I am going to jump into next. We're thrilled to open the application for the second cohort of the Diverse Leaders Fellowship. This program, powered by Bank of America, brings together underrepresented LGBTQ+ early to mid-career leaders for networking and professional development. Fellows will convene for virtual programming over the summer and will meet in person on Monday, October 17th for a pre-summit day of learning and networking. Now, as part of the fellowship program, fellows will receive a complimentary in-person registration to attend Workplace Summit. This program is offered to partners at our bronze and above levels. For further details and access to the application link, please visit our website. Next slide. Then we'll have the Practitioner Leadership Labs. And these are a one-day in-person deep dive of programming focused on 3 tracks: resource group leadership, LGBTQ+ inclusion best practices, and professional development. In-person attendees choosing to purchase this as a Summit add-on will be able to select 2 lab sessions across 3 tracks and partake in a general breakfast session as well as a general lunch session. Registration will open on Wednesday, June 1st, so be sure to mark your calendars. Further details will be posted on our website in the coming weeks. I also want to just make a quick note about this is if you're planning on attending the Workplace Summit, like I mentioned, you can add this on for purchase, or if you just want to attend the Practitioner Leadership Labs, you can purchase that just as a standalone and just attend on Monday. Next slide. Okay, so on to Summit scheduling and our programming. Pre-Summit programming is for both in-person and ePass attendees. This is really going to be a great opportunity for the two different groups to kind of meet that pre-week before we arrive in person in Las Vegas. So as I previously mentioned, this will take place over 3 days from October 11th through the 13th, and we will be hosted on our virtual platform Pathable, which is the same platform we've used for the past 2 years to host our summit events. A staple of these past 2 all virtual years has been the networking sessions. So of course we wanted to bring them back. We'll host a variety of networking opportunities, including the belonging sessions, which were moderated by Aaron and will be moderated again by Aaron this year, as well as some additional networking sessions for our engagement groups, as well as globally focused regions. Our virtual career fair will take place on Thursday, October 13th. And you'll hear a little bit more about that a little later on in this call. Programming for the pre-summit week will also include wellness labs. So in the past, we've had yoga sessions, dance lessons. Last year, we featured our first cooking class. So you can expect those again during that pre-summit week, as well as on-demand summit content featuring the best of our virtual summit recordings, such as our workshops and premiere sessions, which attendees can watch at your leisure. Next slide, thank you. In-person summit starts off with pre-conference day, followed by the 3 days of programming. There will be 3 plenary sessions featuring Out and Equal keynotes, LGBTQ+ celebrity keynotes and performances, executives, thought leaders, and the OUTIEs. Stay tuned for more information about the OUTIE Awards. We're really close to announcing some of the talent, as Aaron mentioned, and excited to share that information with you very, very soon. Summit will include 12 breakout session blocks spread out across those 3 days, which consist of premiere sessions and approximately 8 to 10 workshops per block. We will also, of course, have the Engagement Center, which will take place on Tuesday and run through Thursday, and we're excited to see what our partners cook up this year with their booths. And then last but not least, Night Out, which has easily become an attendee favorite. This will be hosted at the Mirage in the Secret Garden and Dolphin Habitat. In-person attendees will use Pathable, as it will serve as our event app as well as our virtual platform. So it's a one-stop shop for all of you attendees, whether you're joining in person or via ePass. Next slide, please. And last but not least, we've got ePass programming, which will follow the same schedule as in-person summit with the exception of pre-conference day and Night Out. On our virtual platform, ePass attendees will have access to the live streams of all 3 plenaries as well as all of our premiere sessions. In addition, a select amount of in-person workshops will be recorded and hosted as Summit on-demand content on our virtual platform. There will also be virtual engagement center with dedicated live hours on each day. And the full schedules for the pre-summit, in-person, and ePass programming can all be found on our Summit homepage. Next slide, please. Okay, call for proposals. These are now open. You can visit our website to access the workshop portal. Here are some key dates and deadlines to keep in mind. I do want to call out that on June 13th, we'll be hosting the Workshop Proposal 101 webinar, where Isabel Porras, our Senior Director of Learning and Development, will talk to you about maximizing your submissions. In addition, the Learning and Development team will also have dedicated office hours to support workshop submissions. And I will turn it over to Stephen Huey to discuss OUTIEs and partnerships.
Thanks, Kira. I'm not sure if my video.
We can see you.
Okay, great. Thank you. I can't tell from here, but thanks, Kira. I'm Stephen Huey. I'm the Senior Director of Corporate Engagement. My pronouns are he, him. And to best understand the significance of the OUTIE Awards, they were first established in 2000 to recognize outstanding achievements in 3 categories. Those 3 categories were LGBT ERG of the Year, LGBT Champion of the Year, and Workplace Excellence. Today, the much coveted and competitive OUTIE Awards reflect the progress, success, and impact LGBTQ plus ERGs, leaders in LGBTQ plus focused diversity, equity, and inclusion programs have had on today's workforce and the future of work. So the 7 OUTIE award categories are ERG of the Year, where top contenders are established LGBTQ ERGs that continuously elevate LGBTQ plus inclusion, implement intersectional and collaborative programming with other ERGs, and advocate for full LGBTQ plus representation and equal rights in the workplace. The new ERG of the Year award recognizes a new LGBTQ plus ERG chapter that's been established for at least 2 years and has made a bold impact at their company, their federal agency, or a nonprofit organization. The third is the LGBTQ Corporate Advocate of the Year, and this award goes to an LGBTQ plus individual who actively advocates on behalf of the LGBTQ plus employee, pushing change as a true leader and LGBT plus advocate at work and in the greater LGBTQ plus community. The Global LGBTQ plus Corporate Advocate of the Year. This award recognizes an LGBTQ plus individual doing work in OUTIE's Global Impact APAC or Latin America regions. And then there's the Ally Changemaker. So this one honors all allies who has made a significant impact in advancing LGBTQ plus equality. This is an action-oriented changemaker who lifts the voice and visibility of marginalized LGBTQ plus employees, sometimes even at some risk. Belonging and Equity Visionary. This one is a new award, and this award goes to a company that builds a workplace culture that fosters connection, collaboration, and allyship across boundaries of culture and race. This was first presented last year, and we're happy to bring it back this year. The breakthrough intersectional programming, outspoken public policy advocates for the needs of multiple communities, innovative projects, programs, and resources that further advance the LGBTQ community are recognized under this award. The final award, which is the Workplace Excellence Award, is the most prestigious OUTIE award, where workplace excellence recognizes an employer who has had a historic and ongoing commitment to pursuing workplace equality for LGBTQ plus employees in the workplace. They continue to raise the bar, support other organizations, DEI efforts, with active knowledge sharing and peer mentorship. Next slide, please. The 2021 OUTIE Award winners. In 2021, we received over 200 nominations. We expect the same this year. And actually last year, the first ever tie for a single award. The ERG of the Year went to both Capital One and Oracle. For new ERG of the Year, it was Boeing. For LGBTQ Corporate Advocate, Genentech. Matos Filhos in Brazil for the Global LGBTQ Corporate Award, John Deere for Ally Changemaker, Bank of America for Belonging and Equity Visionary, and JP Morgan Chase for Workplace Excellence. There are extraordinary first-time winners and a few multiple OUTIEs honored for their continued good work in new OUTIE award categories. A complete list of past OUTIE award winners going all the way back to 2000 can be found on our website. Next slide. In talking about the 2022 OUTIE Award nomination and selection process, the OUTIE Award nomination portal opens today. It's available on our website, and the deadline to apply is Friday, July 15th. After the nominations are reviewed in each category, finalists are submitted to the OUTIE Award Review Committee. And this committee, which is made up of a group of LGBTQ plus leaders and advocates, diversity, equity, and inclusion professionals, and corporate champions, including former OUTIE Award winners. So potential awardees are notified of their finalist standing, and then winners for each of the OUTIE Award categories are announced at Summit. The link for submitting OUTIE Award nominations is outequal.org/OUTIE Awards. And you can find, that's where you can submit individual nominations for each of the 7 awards. Next slide. So in this section, in talking about partnerships, I'll be talking about partnerships, specifically the Engagement Center, the virtual career fair, and things to come. Next slide. So this is covering the Engagement Center booth in person. So the Workplace Summit Engagement Center is a hub for all attendees to gather and meet throughout the 3 days of Summit. So partners with booth, the in-person engagement center is a unique opportunity to showcase your brand in a variety of ways, such as offering company swag that shows your pride, creative interaction, and one-on-one conversation. This is a fun and active space with a lot of high energy, activity, and opportunity to engage with peers across industries. For partners with in-person engagement center booths, 10 exhibitor-only passes will be available to your staff so that you can staff your booth so that you have the option to staff your booth with non-summit attendees. This works really well if you have company volunteers. The events team is working on the exhibitor toolkit for all partners with booths. In 2020 and in 2021, we offered virtual booths to Summit partners. And this year, all partners will have the option to host complimentary virtual booths. And that will be on the ePass Summit platform. And only partners with in-person engagement center booths included in their contracts will have a booth on site in the engagement center at the Mirage. In the virtual engagement center, this is HP's virtual engagement center booth. So if I think you're on the next slide. And this is an example of the virtual engagement center booth. And this illustrates HP's. For those partners who had a booth in 2020 and 2021, the virtual booths will be set up very similarly to the last 2 summits. And the virtual engagement center booth allows partners to build out their digital booth with a company graphic. They can add videos and links to their company website, including job postings. And again, all partners are eligible for a virtual booth. You can have a static booth without representatives or an interactive booth with virtual staff access. Next slide. So under partnerships, here are some things to come. The virtual career fair, there will be a dedicated live engagement center hours and a virtual career fair taking place, as Kira mentioned, on Thursday, October 13th during pre-summit week. This is when partners can staff their booth during the live hours with talent acquisition team members in your virtual engagement center booth. And more details will follow in communications that will be included in the exhibitor kit. 2022 partner toolkit will include important deadlines, key contacts, and detailed information for activation. It'll also include specs and deadlines for submitting your company logo, and there will be a summit partner ongoing communications and check-ins leading up to summit will be administered by the corporate engagement team. So now I'll turn things over to Senior Events Manager Annalicia Hawkins, who will talk about registration.
Thanks, Stephen. Hi, everyone. I'm Annalicia, Senior Events Manager. Really excited to have you all here. I'll be talking a little bit about registration. It is now open for Out and Equal partners, which is really exciting. Partner codes will be sent out today, so keep an eye out for that if you are a partner contact. We will be opening up registration to the wider public in the coming weeks. Right now, we are opening registration exclusively to our 2022 partners to ensure that they have ample time to register before opening registration to the public. Some really exciting registration add-on items to keep in mind are our practitioner leadership labs, which Kira mentioned earlier. You can register for those starting June 1st. And you can also opt into the Summit Buddy program during registration. Remember that the Buddy program will fill up, so be sure to register soon if you'd like to participate in that. And our Summit FAQ, which has information about registration, housing, workshops, etc., is currently available on our website. Next slide. This is what you'll see when you access the registration site. Please be sure to use the email address that you want to use to access our virtual platform for ePass programming. Enter your partner code that you receive from us in the discount code field, and also be sure to select either in-person or ePass attendee in order for your code to be applied. Next slide. I'll talk a little bit about housing. We are really thrilled to be hosting 2022 Summit at the Mirage Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. This is a really beautiful property with exciting amenities to make your time at Summit as enjoyable as possible. We're proud to offer special rates for Summit starting October 15th through October 21st, as you can see here. Please note that additional rates and taxes do apply and availability is limited and first come, first served. However, in the event that our room block capacity is reached, rooms may still be available at regular rates through the Mirage. Reservations are now open for committed partners and will open to the general public in the coming weeks. To book your individual housing, please reference the link provided in your registration confirmation email. Make sure to mark your calendars for these important dates: September 7th, which is when any unused subblock nights will be returned to the main Out and Equal block, and September 21st, which is when special reservation rates at the Mirage will end. Partner delegations of 15 or more people can request a subblock by working directly with the Mirage reservations team. And more information about subblocks can be found on our housing page, as well as the partner toolkit coming out soon. And I'll talk a little bit about health and safety, which is really important this year and any year. We're really excited to be able to invite you back to in-person Summit this year, and we are committed to the health and safety of all of our attendees, speakers, partners, and the Out and Equal team. We've created guidelines that will be required for attendance and participation in the 2022 Workplace Summit. All attendees will be required to be up to date on vaccinations and will be required to provide proof of up-to-date vaccination status. For those who received vaccinations in the US, you will be required to upload your vaccination information to Health Pass by Clear. And for those who received vaccinations outside of the US, you will be required to show your vaccination card and government-issued identification at the registration desk upon check-in. We understand the fluidity of the situation, and we are currently monitoring COVID-19 and potential health risks. Please note that the guidelines set here are subject to change, and it is highly recommended to frequently check the health and safety page for any updated information. Additional resources can be located on the health and safety page, including travel restrictions, Las Vegas mandates, and the Mirage Health page, along with more. And for any questions, you can connect with our Summit support team listed here. And now I will pass it back to Kira.
Okay, thanks, Annalicia. So before we start our Q&A, we would like to leave you with some important contact information as well as key dates and deadlines. Here is a reference page for your main Out and Equal points of contact. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to the corresponding contact and we'll be happy to assist you. Next slide. Thank you. As for key dates and deadlines, most of this information was already mentioned during the call and on the specific slides, but we wanted to give you a convenient snapshot for you to reference between now and Summit. As Madeline mentioned at the top of this meeting, the slide deck, as well as the recording, will be sent out to all attendees and living on our website. So do not feel like you need to jot any of this information down. The slide deck will be available for you shortly. And I will turn it back over to Madeline to wrap us up.
Thank you, Kira. Okay, so we want to hear from you all again. So are you interested in attending Summit in person or using a virtual ePass? So in person, ePass, or not sure yet? Give it a second. And while you all are submitting these answers, I do want to call out my colleague Isabel's chat in the chat box to submit your questions via Menti. So the code is in the chat box and at the top of the screen right now. So if you can submit your questions, because all of the questions in the chat box are being buried pretty quickly. So please submit your questions using Menti. Okay, we can go to the next. Okay, so what is one word you think about when you think of the Workplace Summit? So enter your word and we'll get those up on the screen. Okay, these are coming in quick. Let's see if I can capture a few. Community, connection. Oh my God, this is like a eye trick. Education, family, energizing, networking. Unstoppable, our theme. Life-changing from Aaron in the chat. Togetherness, network, inspiring. Family, collaboration, inclusivity. Get some more in here. Learning, engagement, pride. Another unstoppable. I think people are liking our theme this year. Okay. Well, thank you all for submitting and for participating. This will be, all these questions are helpful for our team. And then also just to see what you all are excited about. All right, so we can go on. Okay, so now is the time for the Q&A. Again, if my colleagues can submit one more time, just the code, I know it's at the top of the screen, but in the chat box for anybody who might not be looking at the screen, how to submit your questions via Menti. I'm going to moderate the Q&A and pass it over to colleagues who will be responsible for answering the questions. So I'm going to get started. So main differences between in-person and virtual. I'm going to pass that to my colleague, Kira.
Yes, happy to take that one. Thanks, Madeline. So I know there's a lot of information between in-person, ePass programming, and then pre-summit week. So happy to answer this question. So the main difference, obviously, other than being in person versus participating virtually, is that there is curated content for in-person attendees. And one addition to that is the pre-conference day, which will take place that Monday before. So that is one difference that is available for in-person attendees for purchase, but not the virtual ePass folks. As similar is the night out. Night out is exclusive to in-person attendees. In addition, the ePass attendees will have access to live streamed sessions. So that participation will look a little differently, of course, where it's live streamed. It's not, if you're joining a premiere session, it's a live stream version as opposed to being in person. So as far as kind of some of the Q&A elements, those won't be present on the virtual side. But we will make all of our plenaries and premiere sessions live streamed and available to the ePass folks who are on our virtual platform. But the programming, and if you want to go reference our summit schedules, you can kind of really see, I think it's the best visual to see the differences between in-person and ePass programming is it really is kind of the same as far as the content that you have access to, but just the quantity of workshops will be different. There's more in-person workshops than there are for ePass attendees. And then the one similarity between the two is that both in-person attendees and ePass attendees will have access to pre-summit week, which again will take place that Tuesday through Thursday, the week before we are in person. And that will consist of the networking session, wellness lab, virtual career fair, and networking opportunities, I think I did say. So that's kind of the main difference between in-person and virtual.
Thank you. Okay, so at the beginning of the call, my cat was interrupting, but now I think she's gone away and is sleeping. But it's just part of working from home. We got animals and kids and partners and everybody all around. Okay, so I think with this question was just answered. Kira, if there's anything you think to add, but I think you just covered all of that in your.
Yes, and just happy to just quickly kind of respond to that explicit question is if you can go back to that, the previous question. I'm not sure if we can, but there is a limited amount of for ePass attendees. It is not the full slate of what in-person the breakout sessions will provide. So again, for our breakout sessions that are taking place in person, we will have approximately 8 to 10 workshops and or premiere sessions, a total of 8 to 10 taking place during each block, and there's a total of 12 blocks. All of those 8 to 10 sessions will not be available for virtual, for the ePass folks. There will be approximately 1 to 2 sessions available in each of those blocks for the ePass attendees.
Are there any themes to the workshop sessions to consider when writing proposals? Kira, I know at the top of the call, you did talk a little bit about our Out and Equals tent poles and areas of focus. I wonder if it's worth calling those back out, and then if we have any other insight for the workshops.
Yes, I'm actually going to kick this question over to my colleague Isabel to answer.
Sure. Hi, I'll jump in really quickly and say, yes, there absolutely are themes, and you can see those listed on our website when you click on the proposal space application. We will also be having a call, as Kira mentioned earlier, to sort of go through best practices for submitting your workshop, your session proposals, but you'll see some possible themes and tracks listed on the website. Generally speaking, though, we really are very interested in sessions that center LGBTQ workplace equality and belonging. So we can certainly chat about those, and I'm very happy to interact with folks. If you want to talk one-on-one about your possible proposals, you can email me at learning@outandequal.org, and I'll chat that in right now as well.
Great, thank you. Okay, is there a nonprofit discount available? I believe Kira and Annalicia, this would be something that you all would cover.
Sure, I can go ahead and answer that. We don't usually have a nonprofit set rate available, but if you have questions about specific rates, feel free to reach out to our registration team, registration@outandequal.org.
Yep, and just a reminder, the standard registration rate is $17.50 and $500 for ePass, and that is on the presentation that you all will receive. Are there on-site exhibitor booths for the recruitment of Out and Equal attendees in addition to the virtual career fair? So Stephen, if you want to jump in again on the engagement center and the career fair, just a quick refresh.
So for those that have on-site booths, you can of course recruit during the 3 days of summit, but there is not going to be a designated career fair time at Summit like we have done, like we had done the last time in 2019. The focus for the career fair will be the virtual career fair that's taking place on the 13th.
Great, thank you. When will on-demand be available to access? during or after the conference? So, oh, Kira's on.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer this. So there's kind of two different types of on-demand content. The on-demand content I mentioned that is available starting the pre-summit week. That is kind of the best of our virtual programming over the past 2 years. That will be available once all attendees are granted access to our virtual platform to view at any time during that pre-summit week, following into the next week. And we usually, and we plan on doing this year as well, is we will keep the virtual platform open for a couple of weeks after Summit concludes. So that's one kind of type of this on-demand content. If this question is referring to specifically ePass attendees, where I mentioned there will be in-person workshops that are recorded and available on the platform. The goal is to have a, at most like a 24-hour turnaround time of the recording being uploaded to the platform. But again, even if it comes in 24 hours later, just keep in mind that you will have access to review those recordings for a couple of weeks after the summit dates conclude.
Great, thank you. What is the gala that is listed on the schedule, Kira?
So the gala is one of our 3 plenaries. We have opening brunch, so, and power lunch, and then gala. Gala is our final plenary, and it also wraps up summit for the week. And so gala is, it's a plenary that also includes, what I kind of reviewed of, Out and Equal keynotes, celebrity, LGBTQ plus celebrity keynotes and performances as well. But it really is a celebratory moment for all of our attendees to kind of bask in what has transpired over the past few days, have a delicious meal, and kind of really end summit on a high note. As well as our outies. I mentioned, I think, in one of my previous slides, but our outies will kind of be sprinkled in throughout the plenaries. So the outies will also be part of that gala plenary.
Thank you. How do we identify who received the code for registration at your company if you are a partner company?
Yeah, so you should have a main partner contact at your company who is in contact with our team. If you don't know who your main partner contact is, you can reach out to partnerships@outandequal.org, but they will be responsible for distributing registration codes to your company attendees.
Thank you. Is the in-person engagement center all 3 days of summit or certain days and times? I can answer this question. The engagement center will be all 3 days of summit. It will be open throughout the day at different times. The hours are on our website on the summit schedule. If you can take a look at the schedule, we can put the link in the chat box to see the hours of the when the engagement center will be open. Can speakers present virtually, or do we have to be in person? I'm assuming this is workshop speakers. Kira or Isabel, I'll let you jump in with that answer.
Sure, I'll jump in. This year, we are very thrilled to be back in person. And so while we will be showcasing some of the virtual content over the last 2 years, this year, we are prioritizing live presentations in Las Vegas.
All right, do we have to be an Out and Equal partner to submit for an OUTIE award? You do not have to be a member of an Out and Equal partner company to submit an OUTIE award nomination. Please do submit, everybody submit OUTIE nominations for your company, ERG, colleagues, mentors, ERG leaders. Please do submit those, and you do not need to be a partner. If you're not a partner, how do you become a partner? That is a great question. I'm happy to answer it, but I'm wondering if my colleague Stephen has a better answer than I do.
Well, you can contact my team through partnerships@outenequal.org, and we're very happy to speak with all organizations about what the opportunities are. Our partnerships are not just about Summit, it's really about year-round engagement. It's about learning and development, as well as providing resources for you throughout the year. So the best way to connect is through partnerships@outenequal.org.
Thank you. And then if someone can put that email address in the chat box as well from our team. Are there any reference materials available to assist with getting approval to attend Summit? Yes, every year we send out a pitch template that people can use for their bosses, ERG leaders, whoever at their company will give approval to attend the summit. We will put that together in the coming month and get that to you all to send out to whoever at your company will approve. And that will include email or letter template, and then links to previous summit impact reports so that your approver can see all of the amazing things that happen at Summit and the global impact from Summit. And then we'll include important materials from previous years that will help your case. So stay tuned for those. I think I already answered the cat question, so this might mean that we're back at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think we are caught up on questions. Obviously, questions will come up. Sterling, if you don't mind clicking over to the key contact page again. I know we will send this out for you all, but here, just a final glance at the Out and Equal points of contact to send your questions to. You will receive the recording of this session and the presentation later this afternoon. So be on the lookout for that, and it will live on our Out and Equal website. Thank you all so much for joining. We are so excited. I hope you can feel the excitement in the chat box from our staff. And I'm so happy we were able to announce our theme of Unstoppable, and we are so excited to see many of you in Las Vegas. So with that, we will give you back some time and you will hear from us shortly. Thank you all so much.